Howdy folks, Spencer here, and today I want to go over the latest batch of news for STO on both PC and console. As always, chapters are listed down below. The first thing I want to take a look at today is the 10 forward stream from earlier this week. For the first 30 or so minutes of the stream, Kale was joined by STO executive producer Jared Fisher to talk about the near-term plans for the game. This follows requests from myself and others following the recent layoffs, in which we stated that Cryptic would really benefit from getting some sort of roadmap or teaser out there to reassure the player base that STO isn't going anywhere and is indeed still being developed. And thankfully, over on Reddit, this Jukar does have a nice write up of the stream that highlights all of the main points from that discussion. Most of the near term plans discussed between Kale and Jared are not really a surprise, but they should hopefully calm down parts of the player base that were worried about future development for the game. Near term, the fifth and final event for the year-long event campaign is now live on PC, and they stated that it's going to be dropping on console in January following the winter event. Black Friday and the end of year sales that we saw last year are going to happen again this year. And for the winter event, they stated that the ship is a cool ship from a fan favorite faction. They wouldn't specify what it is, but they did show us a picture of 3 new winter sweaters, which I'll put up on screen now. And Reddit user Vulcorian did point out that 2 of the sweaters are Temerian related. The purple one is from a Lower Decks episode in which Lieutenant Kayshawn, a Temerian crewman, was transformed into a puppet, and the orange one there in the middle is a Temerian yelling. So, with the Temerian references there, I think it is a pretty safe bet that the winter ship of this year, the free winter ship, is most likely going to be the Temerian Deep Space Cruiser. We're going to see in a couple weeks, but I think that this is a pretty safe prediction to go with, given that, again, 2 of the 3 new winter sweaters we're getting have a Temerian on them. And as for the anniversary event, Jared stated that it is just past the middle of development and that the free anniversary ship is one of the prettiest ships that they have ever made. The anniversary event will also bring with it a new TFO featuring different gameplay and narrative compared to what we're used to. And alongside the anniversary event, the random elite TFO system should be going live alongside some of the missing elite queues that many of us have been asking about. And aside from all that, they did also take a couple questions. Jared stated that they're looking for ways to bring Moopsy into the game. He also stated that he'll look into potentially making single character unlock items from the C-Store bundles become account-wide unlocks. And there were also a couple comments on some visual things like being able to change weapon visuals and being able to turn off other players' visual effects. But realistically, I don't think either of those visual things is going to happen anytime soon, if at all. Overall, I don't think that their discussion is going to reassure everyone, but it is nice to finally have something in a very public setting, letting a larger portion of the player base know that there is more stuff incoming for this game. Personally, I think it would be in Cryptic's best interest to take what they talked about on the 10 Forward stream and put together one of these upcoming content roadmaps similar to what they did back in 2019. Basically, show us what's happening the rest of November, December, January, and February, and that's going to have a bit wider reach than the 10 Forward would to let people know that there is still more development happening for the game. And personally, I think would also be of benefit to them to release one of these upcoming content roadmaps following the anniversary event, just to let people know, once the anniversary event has happened, that there is still long-term development of the game happening. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think about all this. Do you feel a bit more reassured about the future of the game, or do you still have questions? Feel free to let me know down below. And the rest of the 10 Forward was largely focused on the reveal of the Shrike Intel Juggernaut. This is a brand new Infinity promotional tier ship, promo, not lockbox, and it is live right now on PC and will probably be dropping sometime in the later half of December for those of you on console. I do already have a stats breakdown video done for this, which I'll have linked down below, and I do intend to play around with it on my next stream here on November 18th. So if you want to see me trying out the consular trait, make sure to stop by. And for all platforms, there is a 20% Infinity promo sale going on right now. However, I would highly advise that you don't buy any Infinity promo packs for the duration of this sale. The reason is because Cryptic has already announced what the Black Friday sales are. Some of those Black Friday sales are up right now, like the 20% Zen charge bonus or discount, depending on the platform you're on. But one of the other sales here is that they announced 25% off everything in the C store. And this is a sale that starts up on November 22nd. So why would you pay for these Infinity promos at 20% off when they just put out an announcement that next week they're going to be 25% off? So I think you're much better off just waiting for the Black Friday sales next week to pick up these promo packs. In addition to that 25% off everything in the C store and the 20% Zen charge bonus, there is going to be a 75% mud sale for all of the non-bundle items in the mud store. There will be a 50% sale for the mud's bundles. There's a 35% sale for the bundles in the C store. There's going to be a Marks event active, and there's going to be a few new additions to the mud store. So you're going to have the Sylvia's Feline Charm, which is that cat thing from the past Halloween event, which is actually really handy. I can show you that here quick. You guys have probably seen this in a few different STO videos since it came out, but Sylvia's Feline Charm turns you into a cat and you run faster while it's active. So pretty handy. And I do recommend, if you do a lot of ground, I would recommend you pick that up when it goes into the mud store if you do not already have it. The other things they're adding are the Universal Console Dispersing Nanoprobe Assimilator. That I don't recall being anything that notable, so probably nothing to worry about. And then the Mir Universe Gagarin Warship, which has already actually been in the mud store because they accidentally put it in early. So there's some new mud stuff in there for you to take advantage of if you're interested. And if you're on PC right now, there's even a 75% sale active for the individual ships in the mud store right now. So the rest of these sales are going to be going live next week on November 22nd, it sounds like. So make sure to prepare and try to hold off on buying anything in the store right now. You know, just wait for these sales to go live. You'll save yourself some money. And one other sale that is PC exclusive right now is a 20% Lobby sale. This is going to be running up through November 23rd. I don't expect we're going to get a better Lobby sale, so if you have anything you're wanting to pick up, I'd say go ahead and take advantage. And next up, for those of us on PC, the fifth and final event in the year-long event campaign is now live. It is running up through December 7th. And if you're over on console, the Feast event is going to be running after the winter event. So the first or second week of January is when you should get this fifth and final event campaign event. So this is the Feast. It is a rerun of the one that they did the prior year. The reward is, of course, different. But the two eligible queues are Swarm in Space or Bug Hunt on Ground. Bug Hunt is generally about twice as fast as Swarm in my experience. You can get Bug Hunt done in 4 to 5 minutes with a good team. And it's been a while since I ran Swarm, but I'm pretty sure that's one of those queues that's like time gated to be like 10 plus minutes, right? So I would highly recommend Bug Hunt, even if you're not a fan of ground. It is just so fast to get through, especially with this being a normal difficulty only event. And as for the reward here, you don't want to miss out on it. The Trifluoride Maelstrom torpedo launcher is a very good torpedo. It does not beat the original Maelstrom. However, it is just a few percent behind. So if you didn't want to pick up the first strike bundle to get the original Maelstrom, this Maelstrom Trifluoride torpedo is like 7% behind once you have all the modifiers. So it's really quite close performance wise. Definitely something you don't want to miss out on. If you're a free to play player, especially, like the Maelstrom torps are really good. Honestly, if I'm not running a torp build, the torp that I default to putting on my builds nowadays is the Maelstrom. So definitely one of the most powerful event rewards we've gotten in some time. Definitely one you do not want to miss out on. If you want to buy it out, the event buyout cost is 2,500 Zen, and of course, that is going to decrease each day that you play. And for those of you that are really far behind on your event campaign progress, remember that you can buy out the event, get a bunch of event campaign progress from buying it out, and then you can continue to play every single day of the event and get another 50 progress every single day. So if you're really far behind, you may want to make sure you're playing every single day and buy it out if you're that far behind and you feel that you need to get those extra event campaign points. And for those of you interested in the winter event, it should be starting up around the 5th of December this year. Typically, they go for the first Tuesday of December, so long as it's not the first. Now, as I talked about earlier, they did tease some winter sweaters for this year's winter event, and the first two are both Temerian related. And if they're specifically highlighting a race in some of the rewards, then it's a good chance that that race is also the one that has the main ship for that event. And if it is the Temerians, that probably means that the winter event ship that we're going to be getting this year, the free one, is a Temerian deep space cruiser. So it's an interesting looking ship. I know some of you will be very happy to have this in the game if that is what they go with. And I imagine we'll find out whenever the next 10 forward happens in the next week or two. And for the PC patch notes this week, the big thing is that the Chimera and Manticore visual remasters have now been fully pushed live, and that is what most of the patch notes here are. Now, Thomas does have some pictures of the Manticore remaster up over on his Twitter, and I'll have these linked in the description below. And if you have the Manticore or Chimera in game, you can go in and check out these remastered skins for yourself. Both of them look quite nice, and if you're someone that enjoys those ships, then I imagine you'll be very happy with the visual remaster they now have. Alongside that, there was a fix for the Fleet Embassy Interfleet Shuttle Transwarp upgrade, not accepting the correct duty officers, and they fixed an issue with Bug Hunt, in which you could have the final boss not spawn in some situations. And on the topic of ship skins, there's another crossover event happening, this time with Star Trek Infinite. For those of you that own a copy of Star Trek Infinite, the recently launched Star Trek themed Stellaris game, then sometime next week on November 21st, you're going to have a route to get a code that you can redeem in STO to get their Miranda skin in STO. So if you want more customization options for your Miranda, then make sure to pick that code up. You do have to own Star Trek Infinite in order to get this code. So if you don't have the game, don't go out and buy it unless you want to play it. But that is there if that is of interest to you. And on the community side of things, the STO Academy website, which hosted the STO Skill Planner, has officially shut down as of November 17th, 2023. Now, this doesn't come out of nowhere. In fact, there's Reddit posts from 6 to 7 months ago talking about the planned shutdown of the Academy website. And this follows years of the Skill Planner tool not really being maintained and updated to include all of the latest ships. So it doesn't really come as much of a surprise that the folks running it decided to just fully shut it down. Like many others over the years, they've had their time with STO and they're moving on to other things. And there were some attempts to try and get the skill planner tool like hosted by the wiki, but I don't know if there's been any success with regards to that. Thankfully, there is another build planner tool being developed by the community. In fact, it's been out there for a while through the builds Discord, and it is called Sets, the STO Equipment and Trait Selector. Right now, it's not in the most user-friendly state. You do have to go through a bit of a process in order for you to get it installed on your computer. You can see it's not the most user-friendly thing right now, but there are plans to eventually get an EXE version of it to make it easier for widespread adoption. The only downside to Sets, though, is it is a program that you'd run on your computer, whereas the Skill Planner website was just a website. So it's not going to be as accessible as the website was, but this is a build planner that you can access today if you're willing to spend the time to go through and set it up. And there is a support channel for sets in the builds Discord. And of course, follow the README and all that to make sure you're installing it right. And I think there's some more info over in the GitHub. And if you want to help develop it, there is also a channel on the builds Discord for sets development. And you can grab the role to join the development channel by going to info, role selection, and select the role menu development thing there, and you'll be able to see all those channels. And that's going to be it for today. Again, thank you to all channel members and viewers for the continued support. See you guys around.